Hey there, my lovely book addicts. Today I have a review for you, and that review is for Everything Leads to You by LaCour, and let's get started. So, for the first part of the review, I'm going to be talking about basic synopsis points and things that are non-spoilery, and then for the second part of the video, I'm going to be talking about spoilery things. So, the first part is for people who haven't read the book, or for people who have read the book. And then for the second part, it's for people who have read the book. Or people who haven't that want spoilers. I don't know. So this book is about a girl named Emmy, and she is part of the film industry. And her friend, who both work at this film production company, go to an estate sale. And they are there mainly to look for items to put in a certain film that they're working on. And in that film, they are looking for this music stand, and it has to be like this perfect music stand. But, so they're looking around for the music stand, and the head production designer says that they can pick something out and she'll get it for them because it's one of their favorite famous people ever. So they look around and they find this record, and they buy it and they take it home and they listen to it, and they end up finding this letter. And they don't open the letter because they don't want to, they don't want to read somebody else's information because it was never delivered. And so they want to get it to the person who it belongs to, and they go on this big adventure to try and find this person. And that's basically how the entire thing starts, is basically, throughout this entire book, they are going through this whole mystery of this famous person's life, and the people he knew, and everything like that. And it's just, there's so many, plot points that are just different to what I've read in contemporary before. The main character is in fact a lesbian, and I find that very interesting. It's a very interesting topic that most authors don't attempt to write about. And it happens to be that this author is actually a lesbian. And it's just amazing to read something that's so different from the normal contemporary outlook. Like, the baseline is not that different, but her feelings towards other people are different than what I've read. And it's just an interesting topic, and I was just floored by it. And I'm actually a big theater dork, and so reading about somebody who was in the film industry, in production design, was interesting because I happen to paint sets and do stuff like that behind the scenes for our theater. And seeing someone who does it for a living is just interesting. Her look for the way things work in a room or on a scene or whatever is just kind of interesting for me to read about, because you don't read about that very often anyway. Like, there's not that many books with film industry people in them and things like that. So it was just very interesting reading about that. And I ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and it was just amazing. I loved reading about it, and just loved reading about the different story of it, because contemporary literature doesn't tackle this very much. So I just loved the book. And, okay, you have to see this inside cover because it is amazing without its dust jacket on it. Look at how pretty the side is. Like, it's not that, complicated of a book. It's just pretty. I really love the way the spine looks. The silver on the purple is just, really, really pretty. And, this is how the inside cover looks, and it looks exactly like the dust jacket. It's just, I don't know, it's just so pretty and beautiful, and everything's just so, like, perfect. But not perfect at the same time, because it looks like somebody, like, hand drew this line. Like, it's not completely perfect. It's a little shaky on sometimes, and it's just interesting, and how they just, like, they decided to do this book, and it's just interesting how they decided to do this book, and how they decided to do this because it's really pretty, and it's the first pretty inside cover I've seen. Like, most of my books, their inside dust jacket, their inside covers don't look that pretty. Like, okay, here is the Insurgent cover. So, I'm going to show you the inside. Like, I mean, it's pretty, okay? This is pretty, okay? This is prettier, okay? But now I'm going to pull out something that is incredibly ugly for an inside cover. Okay, so this book is just, the way it looks is just not different. And I love this book series. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that because it looks like this is a bad series, but, like, this is the 6th and final book in the Mother-Daughter Book Club series, and the spine is just not, like, it's red. Can you guys tell? It's red. And, like, this is the way the dust jacket looks. It's literally a copy of it. Like, but just in simple form, and it just doesn't look appealing. And the blue, like, it works because that's what color the dust jacket is. I mean, the dust jacket's a little darker, but I don't know, the red just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't look as appealing as this. Like, do you see the difference? Like, if these two were sitting next to each other on a shelf, which one would you choose? I would choose this one. If you had to choose something based on what their spines looked like, which one would you choose? I would choose this one. This one looks like just your average meh. Doesn't really look like much. But I guess that's just how some publishing companies decide to do their spines. I don't know. So, Simon & Schuster apparently is boring, and Dutton is fantastic and perfect. That's what I'm getting from this, so yay. So now we move on to the spoilery part. I don't even know where to start with this book. It's just amazing, and one of my favorite parts, one of my many favorite parts, was when Theo was interviewing her, and then he just leans back and he's just like, I like you. I was like, I could totally imagine somebody saying that. Like, this book, I really want to see it turned into a movie, because there's not really a way you could mess this movie up. Like, I mean, you could. You could really mess this movie up. But I just don't see a way that you could mess this up. Like, okay, I might be in the minority here, but the passionate wish I love this book is strange, but I don't know. I just, words are, I just finished it last night, so I don't really have complete, coherent thoughts about this book, but it's just, so I guess I could just talk about my favorite parts of it, because there isn't really a bad part. So one of the interesting parts that I loved was when Ava called, and she was like, hey, can I ask you a favor, to Emmy? And she's like, yeah, sure, what is it? And she's like, well, I don't really want to tell you. Can I just come pick you up? And she's like, and Emmy's like, yeah, okay, sure. And she picks her up, and she's like, can we take your car? I think that would be best. And she looks really nervous, and Emmy's like, what is going on? Ava's not normally like this. I'm really confused. And then she's like, over here and turn here and we're going here. And then they pull up in front of Tracy's house and she's like, I want to get my birth certificate and you're my getaway driver. So this is the plan. And then she hesitates to get out and Emmy's like, this is a good plan. Go. Yeah, go. And so Ava goes in and then she changes the locks. So she's like, breaks the window. And then she comes back out and she just is like, Emmy, I need your help. I can't do this on my own. I can't find it. There's too many things to look through. I was just being paranoid. She's not going to come home before we're done. And then they look and she trashes her house and Emmy's just like in her head thinking, I don't normally do this. What am I doing? I must really love this girl to be able to do this for her. And it was just kind of funny reading that because being in Emmy's head while that was all happening was interesting to me, and seeing how everything was just kind of coming together and that Emmy was just like, how is this girl making me do this? Because I don't normally do things like this. I must really like this girl. Like, yeah. And then one of my favorite parts of the book is the very end. When, okay, so I'm going to read you the last paragraph and a half-ish of the book. In a few weeks, Toby will come home, and he'll say, so, tell me what you did. And I'll show him this footage, and it will look so professional, so beautiful. It might take him a few seconds to recognize that these are his walls holding up the framed portraits of strangers, his table hidden under a bright yellow tablecloth, his windows with sea blue curtains instead of their usual shutters. He'll grin and say, you made a movie. Of course, how perfect. And I'll say, no, that's not it. He'll cock his head, waiting for more. I'll take my time, keep him guessing. Then I'll say, I fell in love. And I was like, oh, that made my heart melt. And just, it was one of those things that was one of the perfect endings to the book. Just her finally getting happily ever after with Ava, and that just made me happy because it meant Emmy was going to not be stuck with Morgan anymore, even though she had already told Morgan, like, I don't want to get back together with you, this is over completely, like, you want me back, but you don't really want me back. You just want to say that you want my back so that you make me happy? I don't know, like, but, so she's free of Morgan, like, completely, and finally Ava is just able to be with her, and it just, like, made me breathe this huge sigh of relief that it was, like, the perfect ending, because when they had that big fight, and Ava was like, so do you want to kiss me? And she's like, I do, but not right now. I was like, yeah, I had so many feels, because it was one of those things that I was just like, they're perfect for each other, just come on, just go, and for them to, and for Emmy to not want, like, to not actually say, yes, I do want to kiss you, and I want to do it right now, like, I mean, I understood her meaning behind it, because Ava was kind of being a jerk at that point, but, and then when Ava called and was like, I was doing it for you, I was like, like, it almost made me want to cry, but books don't make me cry, and I know I'm a heartless jerk, because secret's out, I didn't cry at the end of Fault in Our Stars. I loved the book, but I didn't cry. It was sad, but I didn't cry. Sorry. I know, I'm a heartless jerk, but I don't cry very often. Like, I didn't cry in the movies either, but if I saw this in the movies, I might cry. I don't know. Because I just felt an emotional connection to Emmy and to Ava And just being able to be in that sort of relationship with them and feeling Ava being like, I was doing it all for you. I felt like I was this mystery of yours and that you wanted this to be like this. I was like, Ava, you're saying the right things. Keep saying them. She's gonna like, and then she's like, I accept your apology. And but then when she had Charlotte call her brother Toby on the phone because she knew that Charlotte had liked him since like 6th grade, and she had her call him, and I was just like, I'm a feelsy person. You guys are gonna have to get used to that because this is how I am. But it was just one of those things. I was just, because I knew right from then. I was like, Toby's gonna like her back. This is gonna happen. And then she's like, I left him a message, and you should call Ava back because that's just how this thing works. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll call Ava back and tell her all these things that I wanted to tell her but didn't. And then they want to start over, and then she goes back to the car and knocks on the windshield, and Charlotte's like, shh. And then she opens it up and she's smiling, and it was Toby! Ah! I was like, I knew it was Toby, and I was just, I could breathe. And she's like, you and Toby, okay, this works. Yeah. It was just, this is how my feelings work on a daily basis. This is how I am. You guys are gonna have to get used to that because this is how I am all the time. I'm just grrr. If you don't like that, then you don't want to watch these videos, because as I get more comfortable with you guys, this is gonna be crazy. I'm just gonna like fire off the roof and explode. Eventually I will. My TBRs will be like, I'll be shouting at you. Yeah, this is how this is gonna work between us. You guys are gonna have to get used to my overdramaticness. I'm a theater kid. Come on. I like dramatic entrances. Yeah, this is how I am. This is me. So, yes, this is the end of my review for Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, and 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and it was amazing. And if you guys have read this book, leave me a comment because I want to hear your thoughts about it, and reply to this video. Make a video response. I would love to hear your thoughts about this book because I'm like in the minority, and at least I feel like I'm in the minority because this book just made me, it just gave me so many feels, and that's, I don't know, it's not really normal for a contemporary. I don't think it's normal for a contemporary. Maybe it is. For me it isn't, because I don't get feels. I don't cry. I'm a strong woman. Yeah, this is me. So, that's the end of my review, and see you all next week. Bye!